right? So if we have to move them, much like the campfire that the fire department uses, right? We can move them to one end of the street, but how many, it gets into one turns into five, right? And so it's the aggregated total that I'm looking at.
Right, so
So I'm trying to be difficult.
no, but what I'm hearing simply is, if we have more than one, or even if we have one, we should be bringing you our site plan. It's like, here's what our site plan looks.
Yes.
And did Joe keep all of the food in one area? Or all the barbecues, rather?
But when I hear all of the barbecues.
If there's
like-
more than one.
Well, yeah, that's where I'm getting into the problem. Like one, we could maybe work with you. Any more than that, we're going back, there's a clear standard for commercial cooking, right? This is a commercial event.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not trying to be difficult, and it goes on, but you're gonna end up with 5, 6, and where does it end?
No.
Well, I'd be surprised if we've ever had more than 3.
Yeah.
Right, so,
Two usually.
right, so I think, I'm assuming you're open to it, so in our next meeting, we'll just bring you the site plan, because we don't know how to have either. And then we'll figure out whether it works and what works. And it'll be a bit of a learning curve for everybody. Not you, you know, but we do.
Like, these are professional businesses though, do they not already have to be at a certain standard?
Fair enough.
Here's a story that leads into your question, okay? And it's been my experience, and again, coming back many moons ago here to the fair, and the fair has got it steeped in tradition and is very important to the community. They get to know where things are allowed. And they were sending, quite frankly, their junk here. And once the expectation is set, then they bring the better vendors and stuff, and it's not allowed.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they're aware, right? The problem isn't the community, I believe here. It's the outside vendors that are coming. If you allow it, they'll send junk, and then we're gonna have problems, right? And all I'm coming from is the historic village, they're challenging for the fire department to begin with. So that's why we're inspecting those buildings, taking steps to try to preserve it. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, like I just thought that a professional would have to have, up to standard equipment and.
If you go to their
suppression
yards,
systems,
you'll see
whatever.
they have varying ranges of equipment, because a lot of these professional food vendors, they're going all over. This is the busy season. They're going everywhere. So if we can send it here and it's, they're pretty easy to get along with, boom, that's where it lands.
Good to know.
So we want the best here in Catamount.
Sure.
Anyone else have a question? Sarah? Anything?
No.
Thanks.
Well, thanks for having me. If there's nothing further, but the takeaways are, you're gonna reach out to me, we'll maybe set up a date and go and look at each other's tent. Their tents, and then Bridget will get the list of dates and forward them. She certainly and we'll take a look at them and incorporate them into our work plans. I'm gonna modify this document so that you have a handout. I'll send you a letter to the BIA and then a separate handout that you can work with Bridget to have with your registration fees. And sorry, go ahead.
One thing just popped in my head too, maybe, I don't know if it's for you or for us, but maybe we could like take pictures of what the rating looks, the tag
Yeah,
looks like.
that's a good idea. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and like have that, look
Yeah.
for this on it.
Actually, yeah, we have a couple of tents, so I'm gonna get this one.
That's a good
I'll get them.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to make it as easy as
Simple,
possible.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go maybe buy a new one and
Oh.
make sure before we
Okay,
buy
that's
it.
excellent idea. Pictures are good.
Yeah.
Look for these.
Pictures are good.
I read pictures
And-
well.
And yeah, no, with the check mark and then the
Mhm.
red X with, yeah.
Mhm.
Sorry, I didn't mean.
No, that's
That's
good.
good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Super.
Thank you so much for coming today.
Anytime, please reach out. Yeah. Okay,
Thanks, Chief.
that's it.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Sorry, we had some technical difficulties during Bill's presentation. Sorry about that. I think we're back on.
We're live,
So,
undead.
I hope so.
Has everyone had a chance to read our minutes from February 8th. Have a look at these.
It was an email, wasn't it? I think it was.
It was in the email.
Move to adopt.
The
Oh,
second?
yeah.
And business arising from the minutes, there's nothing under that. Reports, treasury report. So that is actually listed right under the heading there, what our opening balance is, $46,367.21 as of February 1st. No checks out of the bank during the month of February, and we had, during the month of February, $50 by e-transfer paid for ticket sales on the breakfast, bringing our balance to $46,417.21. Just a note that early in March, we got more breakfast sales revenue, but I'll talk about that later. And we also got $16,000 levy deposit to our bank account. That happened right around the first of the month. Check requisitions. So we have two. And one is to pay for the BIA breakfast. The other is to reimburse myself for our OBIA membership. The easiest way to do that was by credit card, so that was paid. And also the conference had to be paid for the early bird rate by March 1. And so it's spelled there on the agenda, looking for a motion to pay.
But before we,
Yeah.
absolutely no problem with that one. But before we go back, you said the deposit was 16,000
Yes,
from the levy?
yes.
What weren't we expecting, like 14?
16,000 is what we budgeted, and I'm guessing that
You increased it.
Oh,
it
right.
passed
Yeah.
council.
Okay, got it.
And
Got it.
I was surprised to see it, but it's there, 16,000 even.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
You're right. It was 16.
Okay, I move to reimburse,
To pay.
to pay.
I'll second. All in favor?
We're having a short meeting today.
That's good.
With me.
Yeah.
Under general business, we have the decorating committee update.
Oh,
Ryan,
Well, it's a pretty quick update there too. I mean, the hanging baskets and the street baskets are in coordination. They're trying to match the flowers and colors, which is good. They're gonna come from different distributors. They're already discussing with Johnson's Greenhouse in terms of what the arrangements will look like. And other than that, we're just gearing up for the spring.
I have one question. I did read the update.
Mhm.
Because I was copied on it, and there was a mention of moving a budget item, but that's within their own budget, I presume.
Yeah.
It's not, has nothing to do with our budget.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question, just because I don't know. Who is in charge? Who's the person who is the decorating piece?
There are now,
Committee by definition.
Right, I know, I'm questioning, like who's on it, or if I want to talk to somebody just for fun.
You can talk.
Help them out, or
I can.
It's the ladies, I'm always like, oh, come,
So,
yeah, and I'm always out there on the
Susan
street.
Rice is generally our liaison for the decorating committee.
Okay,
And others are Liz Avery and
so I'll check.
Susan French.
Cool.
Um,
They're lovely, come.
John Shields, Charlene Chalice, Nancy Robinson.
Cool.
Yeah, I've missed
That
somebody.
helps sometimes, because I love that
A
stuff.
new
and I just
member,
wondered who my
Teresa,
contact.
don't remember Teresa's last name.
Cool.
But,
Thanks.
you'll recognize them.
Yeah.
They're the ones that play
I know.
planners and.
I always go out and chat with them, give them coffee and this and that.
Okay, we'll move to, accept these reports at the bottom.
Mhm.
We don't have to. Moving on to Timmy's item, the marketing committee update. I'm gonna take my name off that in the future. It's just Timmy.
We have decided not to do the bags right now. And I'm working on a mock-up for the door hanger. And one of the big things that the businesses that were in attendance at that meeting is that they don't really necessarily support the BIA box program.
They don't
Yeah.
support the BIA bucks. Okay, I put that on the list because that's, we might look at quashing that.
Like, it doesn't seem to be a big seller, and
No.
I don't know, that's just the feedback
They-
I got from that.
So-
I personally don't care.
When it was brought forward prior to the, no, it was at the beginning of the virus, the old program. It wasn't for vendors to sell or for merchants to sell. It was us gifting by
Yeah.
virtue of a contest of some sort.
And I like the idea of it in that respect. Like, I don't know, do we keep doing that and not promote it to sell to people as like a gift certificate? I don't know.
It's not working as a gift certificate evident, but mind you, we haven't promoted it.
Yeah, do we give it another shot?
Yeah.
And really try to sell it, or, like, that's what we need to do. We either need to go gung ho and promote it, or,
I guess the question would be, why don't the vendors, like, is it too much of a hassle? Is it just not worthwhile? Like, there's no point promoting it if they're still not gonna have buy-in.
Yeah.
Right, so the question would be, what would need to change for them to get the buy-in? If,
what are your feelings on that, Stacy?
Yeah, no, I just. And that was the feeling at the marketing meeting, because it hasn't helped the businesses, at least in my respect, nobody is using them, nobody knows about them, but I think that's because nobody knows about them. Even I didn't know enough about them and I wasn't here, so it didn't help me, nobody was giving them out, nobody was using them, so. Like you say, unless it's done properly and the community and everybody knows about it. It's something maybe to revisit later, but at this point, I think the consensus at the marketing meeting was squash.
Well, maybe the only,
And not disrespectfully, of
the
course,
one thing we could look at doing to
or reinvent it.
get it noticed again is do a contest. That's just a suggestion for
Yeah.
next.
Right,
so I still think we're fighting it from the wrong end,
yeah,
right? Like, you have to have the vendor, like the shops buying it. Like, if they're the ones who aren't happy about it. So either you take it to like that BIA breakfast and present it to them and make help.
I like that idea,
understand
present
it.
it properly like we did at the breakfast, and it's a
Yeah.
thing.
Then
Because I
they,
think a lot of people don't know about it properly, I didn't,
That's true.
I didn't really know, and then I was like, well, what is this? And
Yeah,
somebody handed me stuff the day before the meeting, and then I did nothing with it.
well,
And nobody came to me about it either, so I was confused and nothing happened.
we
Help or hurt my
we
business.
put it back on just before Christmas in the village, thinking, well, maybe it'll work at Christmas in the village. But then from that point forward, it has no promotional.
Yeah, it just
And
didn't
it's up to
fire.
the marketing committee, in
Mhm.
my view, to figure that out.
Mhm.
And if the marketing committee doesn't want it, then quash it. There might be an alternative to this, which, apparently does work. It's a question of how much it costs, is Terry Guile presented this at the second last breakfast. The gift card,
Like,
it's a piece of plastic that works like a credit card. That's a more saleable item.
Mhm.
And that's offered through 2 or 3 different companies, and I get emails about it all the time. When Sherry Susie went to the conference last year, the OBIA conference, she determined that we were too small.
Mhm.
But what I would be looking at would be, well, maybe if we got together with other small BIAs, maybe we can do this I don't know so that's something.
The marketing committee would have to look at it, yes.
Well, yeah, but the marketing committee needs to understand how that system works.
Well, that's, I mean,
Yeah.
our role as a board is to direct the marketing committee, and our directions,
Yeah.
investigate it, and figure out whether it makes sense or not. Like,
Yeah, look at processing fees.
Yeah.
because
Well-
it's not just the processing fees, because when we talked to Terry about
There's
it,
a setup.
there's a big investment to set it up.
Mm.
And that's the part that gets harder, because it's technology, so you need
Yeah.
people to manage it and run it after the setup even.
Mm.
Yeah,
So we might just be too small. Right, and we might be too, geographically diverse from any other BIAs as well.
yeah,
But that's, if you really want to investigate it, then, we'll give that to the marketing committee to come back.
For sure, but Timmy might even talk about, and I don't know today, but some other ideas we have maybe that are like. 'cause we had some others
The other, actually,
that I think is fabulous.
Brittany brought it up, was
Yeah.
coupon book.
Mhm.
Get the buy-in from the local businesses to have like a coupon in the book, like 10% off a haircut or whatever it might be. And then coupon books are sold around the community.
Does anybody
Haven't-
remember that?
haven't seen those in
But
years.
when I mean, in the seventies and eighties, people would come around to the homes and they would sell you a book. I don't know if anybody else remembers this.
No, yeah,
And there'd be
I'm-
like restaurant, this, that, the other, and
Yeah.
even if there was one
Music
thing,
Fest does it.
right? And that might be something more lucrative,
It's a
and
bit like
something we
Fourth
can
Line.
do.
Sorry, it's a bit like the fourth line. We get all the people in with the little fourth line,
Yeah,
10% off.
Oh, yeah.
Cards.
right?
Well, you get them in the
It's in my-
the
And if people
newspaper.
had to buy the books, like we said, and then I
Yeah,
think
buy
we
the
had another idea where they might,
Yeah,
even
you
if
know the
this
ones you
happened, they
get.
got a deal on the book or something. We had.
Oh,
Like,
the
it's-
ones
it's-
you get
In the paper where you get like a square and it's got different stores and you just cut it off. and
Yeah,
It's got a little
same kind
QR
of
code.
idea.
But the difference here is like the book you buy for like $100, but I'm throwing a number.
Oh,
out there.
that, yeah.
But it's got about $500 for savings.
Yeah.
That's what it
Yeah.
was, yeah.
But the odds are, you're probably never gonna use all of it, like,
Mhm.
yeah.
you're not gonna use it all. but there'll
No,
be some
but
of
there'd
it.
be something in there that you love, that you're like, yeah, I'm gonna use this, so I'll at least get
And
it.
it's-
You really
Again-
have to have business buy-in because that's the
Yeah.
only thing that makes the book worth money,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Is if the businesses agree to
Yeah.
give a free meal or a free haircut
Yeah.
or this or
Well,
that.
and we were probably talking like $25 coupon books or something, I don't know, I'm
Yeah,
giving you the
sorry.
number, but yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah. Something,
But that-
depending on what people wanted to offer, you'd have to find out what the businesses would be willing to offer
Figure
first,
out
I
if it's
guess.
worth it to people to get
Yeah.
10% off.
Yeah.
As opposed to something.
And I would imagine the printing costs of these are pretty high.
And we were gonna talk to
Yeah.
Brad,
That's
because
right.
Brad's pretty good in
Yeah.
communities, we're gonna talk to him.
So you can
But
invest.
that's something more
Yeah.
Well, that's something to
investigating.
investigate, for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, yeah.
So I will send forward the emails from the companies to Timmy, but at the conference, which is coming up at the beginning of May, I'll look into it some more, because there'll be other BIAs there,
Mhm.
which we can say, well, how about you and we go talk, see if we can do something together here. I think that's the only way it would work financially.
I'm not sure about this conference, I've never been there, but typically the vendors are there, so you can actually
Oh,
talk.
they're
Right.
there.
So you can talk to the vendor
Yeah.
directly, say,
Yeah,
have you ever seen them set up, like,
And
You have
these are to
multiple
be
units.
used, like the card is to be used just in your
it's like a
town,
debit, it's like a debit card, right?
but it can only be used in,
Correct.
okay.
Like you
So-
see, like universities use it all the time, right, with a meal card, so you can use it.
Oh, okay, now I'm registered.
so it could be, say, with Orno has a BIA, Port Hope. We could do two of them. I think they're the closest. There's no point joining with Peterborough.
No.
Well, I don't, maybe there is. Maybe there is.
Well,
Maybe there's a way to, I don't know. But I was thinking the BIAs that can't buy into this because they don't have the
It's got there.
budget, maybe we can collaborate.
I know, it's an idea to investigate.
Yeah, but so for now, we don't pursue the BIA bucks unless the marketing committee comes back and says,
Well, I think we need to talk about a plan we need to talk to the businesses.
alternatives
And
and
then-
yeah,
If it's a matter of they just don't understand them, then I think a session where we explain everything and then go from there.
well, yeah. But the question is the public gonna go and buy these things? Probably not,
Well, I
right?
mean,
At Christmas maybe. But
like, I'm just
Only
thinking
know
of,
about it.
like, I could
Mhm.
buy something like this for my son and he could take it and get a haircut, but other than that, he's not. Other than him going to Moody's or to get his haircut, he's not doing anything in town, you know what I mean, like.
Fair
it's-
enough.
We
Yeah.
don't have the things in town that teens want, so you're kind of limited as to who you're buying them for.
Mhm. I think they work as Christmas presents and that's, otherwise, I don't, my feeling
Maybe
is.
it's,
the
maybe it's
public-
reserved for Christmas promotions.
Yeah,
Like maybe instead of it being wide open all the time, just has a Christmas push.
mhm.
Mhm. Which means we have lots of time to revisit it,
Mhm.
and figure it out.
Yeah,
And get the buy-in from vendors, from the
Mhm.
shops.
We'll talk more about it.
Mhm.
and can still do this thing as well as the discount coupon books.
For sure.
So they're independent.
The discount books would be, I think, work better for year round.
Yeah, yeah.
Anything else from the,
No, that's it.
okay, so the BIA update is no update. So everyone knows in terms of, uh, anyone watching them in.
That,
Actually, Sarah's just brought some to Cashin, but we'll deal with that.
Next meeting.
We'll deal with that next week, yeah. Okay, event schedule is next on the agenda. And, I guess there's just two things there is it on our website now?
No, not yet. I have to put it
Okay.
on.
And, I have received a number of emails from services that we contracted in June and at Ladies Night and the Fall Festival. Like, do you want us? Because you gotta tell us now.
Mhm.
people are getting busy this year.
Yeah,
So-
well, that was,
Yeah. Because number one, do we want the stage?
Well, you know, sorry,
Go ahead.
my opinion is that we actually need to have committees
Yeah.
that are organized around each event and they decide what they
Yeah.
want and they run with it.
100% Sarah. Like, that, we shouldn't be making that decision.
It seems, yeah, it seems
So-
weird that we're making that decision and that.
Well, I'm just pointing it out that by the time we get the committee organized, or the committee organizes itself, it might be too late for us.
To get people.
Yeah.
Then we
Well,
need
what's
to
our
get,
first one?
then we need to get the event committee organized so they can get rolling.
Okay, who's gonna do that?
Well, I'd like to post something on
I'd like
our
us to
social
announce
media
these first.
All right.
just to say, to get some interest, see who'd like to be on the committee.
Yeah.
Those were sent
Yeah.
out in our,
My apologies, I'm.
that's okay, no, they were sent out before, I think, in our January or February.
Before.
No, it was January
Yeah, okay.
minutes, had all of the events and the dates.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first one is ladies.
Yeah.
July 25th. It actually, if I could kind of jump on to the conversation, one of the things that, the clerk's department just wanted me to kind of follow up with this group is just to ensure that we have captured everything. We took a road occupancy report to council, and it asked that we provide insurance for the activities that are going on. The thing is we identify activities within a certain geographic area. So we say on King Street from Tupper to Union. I think there's other things that are going on that we just need to be aware of and make sure that it's covered under the insurance because we have to kind of spell it out to them. So for example, Christmas in the Village, the wagon rides. So the wagon rides didn't take place just between, well, they did for part, but then they went down through Needler's Lane. And so we need to capture all of that. I think we also have Ladies Night. I think we have vendors that are on Allen Lane, which we don't own. It's owned by Nexicom, but we should know what's happening there just so that the insurance covers the entire event, not just what's going on between Tupper and Union. So off the top of your head, I realize some of them you probably won't be able to answer, but like for ladies' night, I know we do add in Allen Lane. Are there other
What do we
streets
have
or
on Allen
activities?
Lane for ladies'
I
night?
think you had vendors on Allen Lane.
No,
You had an activity of some sort, or was it like a game or something? I don't know if somebody.
no.
That was, I
Way
think
back.
that was summer,
In
the
June.
summer festival.
Had the bouncy castle.
The kids,
Okay.
yeah.
On way back.
And
I
we're
think
not
at
doing
Christmas in the
that.
village, they had hockey going on down
Mhm,
there. a bunch of- That
mhm.
was
Mhm.
pre-COVID.
Mhm.
And your point being,
Can,
Legend.
do we?
Yeah.
Is
there
there,
a
we
w-
just say that, yes, we would like Allen Lane to be covered under the
Yeah.
insurance?
Absolutely,
For
we
all
can.
of the events and.
That you got it covered.
And then I think for Christmas in the Village is your intent to continue with the wagon rides.
Would be the hope, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
And so would it be the same route? Would it be,
most like,
yeah, okay. So I think what they did is they went around, did they go down Hayes Street? And then
Hay to Distillery,
Hay to
or not
Distillery?
Distillery, sorry,
Needlers.
Needlers.
Yeah, Hay to Needlers up to,
They went on Allen Lane.
No, they didn't. Oh, yes, they did.
Yeah, they did.
Mhm.
They didn't want.
Yeah, they didn't want that.
Yeah.
Originally they did because the driver wasn't Earl and she didn't understand, but he was specific. He didn't want the wagon rides on
Right.
Hay Lane because the road wasn't closed there and Allen Lane, so he wanted to stay
Yeah, it was pretty tight.
as tight as possible on the road closures, not where there was traffic. So it was bad enough on, Needler's Lane.
so we would say King Street to Allen Lane to Needlers back around to Tupper to King, right? Is that loop?
Distillery.
No,
We
no,
don't,
yeah, I guess
yes, it's actually distillery
Yeah,
on
touching
the
distillery.
south side of King.
Okay, okay. And is the intent for either ladies' night or fall festival, will you keep your vendors within the Tupper and Union? Or do you think, I know with Christmas in the Village, there were vendors down in the Masonic Temple. Was that something they registered?
We'll have nothing to do with that in the future. They want to put their own thing in there and, which is, they have the, early childhood education in there.
But they
And
arranged that with them
They
independently?
did that on their own.
Okay,
And, we did ask initially to put vendors in there. And, in the end, it was, as a BIA, I don't think we should be doing that.
mhm,
I learned the hard way. It's not, there's insurance issues, there's,
mhm,
right, we ran into the same thing when we asked next to come, if we have inside space.
mhm, mhm.
And because all of the vendors for Christmas in the Village, they want to be inside. They don't want to be out in the dark and the cold with no hydro.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah, the Christmas in the Village committee needs to really sort of think about.
That's the
All of
trickiest
those
one,
issues.
Christmas one, yeah.
yeah, well,
I
that's
just gotta
why.
start early.
That's why at a marketing committee meeting, 2 or 3, 4 meetings ago, it was raised, well, why can't we do it during the day? And then we don't have, but anyway, it is what it is. I just don't think it's, in the end, the Masons have to approve who goes in their space. So
Mhm,
just let them do it.
Mhm. Okay.
And then we're not responsible for it.
Mhm.
I don't want to be I don't want our BIA to be responsible for who's. in
Yeah,
the
I think
building.
if you have vendors that are registering through you, you need to know where they are and we need to kind of just spell it out.
They all have to be on the street.
On the street. Now, do we see, I know other years, I don't think we did it for this Christmas in the Village, but I remember we had like a vendor and they kind of were just outside of the road closure. So they were kind of on closer to the, like in front of, I want to say, were they in front of, no, I think they were okay. I thought they were kind of in front of the post office. Which was
No.
just outside, maybe
No.
it was pre-COVID.
It wouldn't have been, because the road closure is right at.
Yeah, I know that's where the road closures were, but I'm just,
I
There-
don't ever recall that.
Never.
okay.
Um,
We just need to be mindful of that, right? If
So-
there's,
One ask by many is why not the arena? The old arena?
Mhm.
I'm not saying that's already covered because the township owns it. You don't have to. So if the marketing event committee for Christmas in the Village were to come forward and ask for use of that space, would you have to know now?
as soon as possible, so they could rent the facility. The only thing is
But
you
I
wouldn't.
mean, from an insurance perspective.
Yeah, as soon as possible, yeah, I think, the clerk's department wants to make sure that they get these requests in as soon as possible. Recognizing sometimes that, you're going Mach 60 with your hair on fire, and a lot of these things happen last minute, but we want to try and circumvent that if we can. The thing about the arena is the arena floor, you wouldn't be able to use. You can only use the lobby because they have that carpet down on the arena floor, and it's not our carpet. Belongs to a third party
Hmm.
who rents it. So we would just have to make sure it's not rented, and the only space you could use is unless you wanted to do the whole parking lot, in which case you could ask the township if they, if they
Not
could
in
use
the
that
dark.
space without a rental.
And then you're drawing people away from the downtown shopping, the King Street shopping.
Or extending it, right? Like
I think.
whatever you want.
I think we
Yeah,
need to get King Street sorted before we start branching out.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we want to definitely include Allen Lane, is
That's where
that,
people park.
Yeah,
yes. Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know,
We may want to ask to use the space just for parking purposes, right? Because I think if there's a rental, oh no, on the
you
outside.
have to have insurance for the parking?
No,
No, I think
I'm
what
just
you're saying
saying
is
it's separate. Yeah, just
There's
so there's
al-
not a rental, right? So just if we can let them know and make the ask. If there's a rental, you're going to be competing for parking spaces, whereas if there isn't a rental, then people could park there and you could advertise it that,
we're not changing the date, so it's,
It would be better if there were not a rental.
Yeah.
For not just parking, but it's an issue for the horses. Because if there's people coming and go, you understand.
Yeah.
So, that would be an ask if we can not rent the arena, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if that has to go to council. I'll check and see, and if it does, we can just get you to spend a little. money
it's
to
interesting. We
council.
might get the bill for the rental if we ask them not to rent. it.
Yeah.
Well, truthfully, that is a revenue source, right? It is
Yeah, I
a
know,
revenue
right?
source,
It's-
so yeah, that's, or you can ask if it can be waived so that you can use it for the event. And that's up to council. That would definitely have to go to council, I
Yeah,
believe.
it'd just be weird with all the streets blocked off that they want to rent it.
It was rented last year,
Yeah.
Love it.
so I mean, it worked. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
here, but
It was a little chaotic. And I think in terms of lighting, I think other years you did have Christmas lights down there. There were Christmas trees, I think I remember.
Right, it didn't.
Those were, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
tell us what you really think.
Yeah.
What would really be nice is if the mill was all lit up.
All lit up.
And they did
Yeah.
put some lights after Christmas in the village, and we actually tried for that, because it was requested by Earl Cochran. And so, just so the people have something to look at when they go around the back instead of parked
Absolutely.
cars.
It's so weather dependent, right? If it's windy
Yeah.
and cold, those trees are a nightmare.
But again,
Yeah.
it goes back to the Christmas in the Village committee. That
Yeah.
Want to figure
Yeah.
out how to put lights on the mill, you gotta figure it out.
Like, we should probably advertise for people to sit on the Christmas in the
Yeah.
Village Committee now.
Yeah,
That's what I've got
That's-
written down.
that's the point of contracted services need to be booked early.
Yeah.
Because by the time, it might be too late. Maybe we don't, if we wanted a stage for a ladies' night, it's too late because we didn't book it.
Oh, you can always get one, but you're gonna pay 2 or 3 times as much money for it.
Yeah. If we wanted a, but historically, we did not have a stage for ladies' night and it worked just fine without it. And so again, that committee is,
So we have 3 events and we need to set
we
up
need 3
3
committees.
committees,
So the first one's in July,
Mhm,
ladies' night.
Yeah.
so this is what, March? So
mhm.
by next meeting, I think we need to
Have a committee
really come up
established.
with who's the adult in charge.
But we need the committees for all 3 now,
Sorry,
for all 3 now, for the sake of, well, not Christmas in the Village so much for the contract.
you can look for all 3, but you need
You need to
focus.
start with your ladies.
Focus on ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And get that
Okay.
together, and that could be, starting to advertise to look for volunteers to help with it.
I'll put some posts up today for that.
Yeah.
We gotta look at, even last year's invoices and say, okay, what contracted services did we bring in? Get that stuff lined up and when you get the committee, you wanna be able to hit the ground running.
Mhm.
You don't wanna be starting from scratch and trying to figure out, okay, what do we need to know?
And the vendor applications would go up.
Go up now,
No,
why not?
what do you, okay, well,
Or
they're
as soon
going,
as possible.
Timmy, are you okay to take the vendor applications?
I
They
can
go
help
to
too.
you?
Well, they're online, so I just have to amend them to include Bill's requests. But I can set them up that they would go to Timmy. So you would get the automated ones that would just come in, so they can just register online.
However,
My only concern is that the first 2 events fall into a very, very busy time for me. Like, I am crazy busy.
But you don't have to be ahead of the committee, you're just marketing, the committee will take care of the events. Right, so all you're gonna do.
Yeah,
What do I
whoever
need to
you
do with
appoint
these-
as
what do
your-
I need to do with these applications then?
So you would have to make sure that you process payment, unless you set it up through Eventbrite, like we did for the breakfast. And then that way,
I know it, right now,
You have to
it's just
approve them
email,
still,
that's,
right?
yeah, you still, I think you do curate them.
Who approves them?
You guys do. Like
That's
whoever's
what
on the
I'm
committee, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
So it's like, don't look like it's you, it's not you don't have to do it,
no, it's the committee.
the committee will do it, but by next meeting, we need to put that as an agenda item, establish these committees,
Mhm, mhm.
right? We're gonna need to put a name beside it on who owns it. Right, and your role in it will be help to recruit people to be on the committee, you don't necessarily have to be on it yourself.
And I'll help you with that. Like, I can help you with that part of it to figure out, maybe.
but for the time being, events at Millbrook BIA is Timmy.
Okay.
So all of the applications that came in for Christmas in the Village, she sent to me and
Yeah.
then
So if
I
it's
will.
not you,
Yeah.
then, we can figure out who gets that, and you can always forward them, I mean, I don't think it's,
Yeah.
forward them
I don't
to
know, I'm huge.
the people in the committee and then you can,
Right,
yeah. The only issue that I see with the application being done before the committee is the fee.
the fee's already set,
Well, we change it every time for Christmas in the
we
Village.
budgeted it, if you look at our budget, we say how many vendors we're looking for how much dollars each,
We didn't specify.
yes, we did.
No, we didn't.
I thought you did,
You might-
yeah,
Today, so.
I thought you did in your revenue, I thought you did.
It'll say, like, ladies night